Hey everyone, we're back. This time I got Phil on my right.
Hello, it's
You're
me.
left.
It is Hank.
Hi.
And Tyler, of course. And we're here to bring you a little talk on the state of the entertainment industry.
Yes.
And kind of chit-chat about like what we think about movies in theaters in the COVID era, and then a little segue into streaming services. So first off, it's only been more recent, but here in Massachusetts, we've actually had the opportunity to go back to the movies again.
Have we?
We have, yeah. I know it's been a few movies have come out to very little fanfare, honestly, because I don't know how it is in every state. From what I heard, Rhode Island might not have movie theaters open right now. Not really sure, but
definitely.
so, but only a handful of movies have actually come out. I think we've had Tenet is a movie that has come out in the theaters, and which looked awfully good when it got previewed back earlier in the year. I feel like it's probably, well, I don't want to talk about how it's doing quite yet, but then New Mutants was one that was the last leftover from the Fox era that got produced before Fox was bought out by Disney. And so, first of all, have either of you guys gone to the theaters since
No,
they've reopened?
last time I went to the movies, I went to go see Knives Out.
Yeah.
Knives Out was the last movie you've seen in theaters.
Same.
Okay, so
Same.
wow. Okay,
That was
so
back in November. That was last November.
I was about to say that's like November, December timeframe. So I have gone in the post-COVID era, or the current COVID era.
So you just
I
got,
went to
like,
see.
A whole theater to yourself?
Basically, I bought a ticket to New Mutants, and went in. I started looking for the concession stand. No one's around. I'm like, so I go to the ticket counter. Hey, where can I get a Coke? Oh, you can't get a Coke. What? Not a popcorn guy. I wasn't feeling the loss there. But,
Right.
You know, it was kind of like, really? Geez, I should have brought my own drink, I guess.
You can't
So-
You're not allowed.
No,
I
bring
mean,
food and drink to the theater. Come on, Chris.
It doesn't feel like a movie to me unless I have to excuse myself halfway through the movie and miss a key part.
Exactly.
Going to the
exactly. If
bathroom,
you've
all right?
seen the whole
So-
movie, you're not doing it right.
Correct.
Oh, I've been watching movies wrong my entire life then?
Yes.
Yeah. So, that
Aw,
being
man.
said, I sat in a theater where you actually bought the ticket and you got an assigned seat at the ticket counter.
Really?
Okay.
Yes. They had you pick out your own seat. It was like actually choosing your flight. Like you go online, you're typing
Southwest
in,
Airlines.
I'm going to book a flight and then I'm going to pick out my seat. Well, that's kind of how it was here in the theater.
Okay.
And so I got in there and I literally shared the theater with about 6 other people. You know, it was pretty dead, gotta say. It was a Friday night.
Now's the time. Go to the
So, and by the way, since we're not going to talk about it, since you guys haven't seen it, but New Mutants was not actually that bad. It was basically a superhero horror movie.
theater. Okay.
I was on board with
and
that.
it had definitely
expected
a
it to be
different
a
feel
horror
to
movie,
it. So,
yes.
you know, but you know, just not the same. So, you know, that being said, you know, I hope we can get back to normal. I don't know. Are you guys missing going to the theaters? Like, I mean, since you hadn't seen one since like November, that you know, before everything got shut down, that's about 4 months of not going to the theater.
Right. It's
So it doesn't sound like you guys are really.
the
into
thing
that
is,
whole
I'm just usually really busy to go. Just like dedicate
Sure.
an afternoon or an evening to go to the movies. Like
Yeah.
it's just like I can just wait a few months, wait for it to come out on DVD or come to a streaming platform. Like it really isn't a huge loss for me.
All right. So you're just okay with the with Cineplexes basically not doing anything.
Yeah, basically.
Okay. All right. That's fair. How about you, Tyler?
I think for specific movies
Mhm.
that I know have the ability to be like much more impactful in theaters with the sound systems and the screens and the lights and all that.
Yep.
Yeah, it'd certainly be missed, but there hasn't been anything that I have felt like was worth seeing. I mean, we saw Mulan on Disney Plus instead of in theaters.
Sure.
Visually, it was brilliant. The CG was excellent, and with the battles and the
Yep.
way the battles laid out, I feel like maybe if I had that surround sound
Sure.
theater system,
Yep.
it could have possibly pulled me into that battle a little bit better and made me feel like I was there experiencing it.
Yep.
I feel like it had that potential.
Yep.
But I watched it on my couch with the TV speakers, so
Not quite the
it's
same.
not the same experience.
Doesn't have quite the same punch.
But for
Right.
your
Yeah.
regular release kind
Sure.
of movies that you don't have to see in the theater, there's not really much to miss.
Okay.
No, it's interesting you say movies that like deserve or like should be seen on a big screen, because later this year there is a movie that's going to be coming out that I think absolutely should be seen on a big screen, and that's Dune 2020.
Ah, yes.
That is a
an
movie I will actually
experience
go to the cinema
that should not be
to
missed.
to watch.
All right, so you're not truly voting for the Cineplexes to die quite yet. Is that
No,
what you're saying? All right.
I feel like there needs to be like it needs to be special,
okay.
right? Like, because most
Sure.
of the time it's like movies that come out recently, I'm just like, if I see the trailer and it doesn't like wow me, I'm like, I'll pass.
Yep. Okay.
I'll wait for it.
I think if I had the chance to like go see like if they decided, hey, you know, we're gonna do a limited time run, we're gonna do Avatar, the oh god,
James Cameron movie?
Thank you, James Cameron.
Oh,
I-
sorry.
I
Did
quite
I do
enjoyed
that out
it.
loud? Sorry.
If they were like all extended edition, James Cameron Avatar,
Okay.
I would go and see that in theaters.
Hey, you know what? You don't have to worry about that because there's like 5 sequels slated for the next like 30 years.
There it
Exactly.
is. That's right.
Exactly.
I
And I
hear
plan on
Avatar
seeing
2
every
is
single one of them.
completed. I heard that it's completed, and they're
I'm
actually.
ready to see that. That is something that I'll absolutely 100% see in theater because it's
Okay.
designed for its visual and atmospheric effects. Something that you cannot get unless you have your own home theater system
Like 70-inch screen TV.
with the surround sound and the subwoofer in your seat. Like, I don't have that.
Okay. Well.
We're mortals. We don't
No.
have that kind
I
of
got
money.
like a
Nor do I.
50-inch screen TV in my basement with no surround sound. So that's
the only surround sound I have is a dog barking in the background. That's.
And you
about
can
it.
get that
But
at
he's
a
not
movie
part of the
theater.
movie. So. So that being said, let's kind of shift gears. So we
Okay.
to the small screen. Let's talk about basically streaming services. Streaming services. It is.
To some people it
it
is
is
a streaming
October.
service.
So.
Why is there nothing?
So streaming services, of course, are all the rage now, right?
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
mean, we've seen subscriberships just like completely skyrocket. I'm going to throw some numbers at you.
Okay.
All
More
right.
number throwing.
I am number throwing
Stop
today.
giving
This
these
is
guys
like
numbers.
I actually did a little bit of research here. But basically, let's see. HBO Max, Viacom CBS, and Comcast Peacock are all coming out with streaming services or have come out with streaming services. Some of them are being offered as free services. Obviously, you've got Netflix, Disney Plus are the established ones, along with Hulu.
I like how you said Disney Plus before Hulu.
There is a reason for that.
Okay, all right.
There's
Now
a
I'm
reason for that.
intrigued. There was a reason.
And Amazon Prime, let us not forget. Okay.
I have all of them.
So, during the pandemic, Netflix added 26 million subscribers in the first 2 quarters of the year. That compares to 28 million the entire year last year, so of all 2019.
Wow.
I believe that.
So, which is pretty incredible numbers, right? Disney Plus opened to 10 million subscribers in 24 hours when it launched its service, all right? Hulu, on the other hand, I mean, it's not all instant success. Hulu's taken 8 years to get to 13 million subscribers,
It's because the
all right?
platform was terrible.
Because
just
the
starting-
platform.
They've been doing a lot of revamping and updating, and
Yeah.
it's not as bad as it used to be. But I used to vehemently distaste Hulu.
There's a lot of reasons for that. I'm sure navigatability to the services are
The
a
way
big
that
thing.
they stream
Their obviously
content.
content, that kind of stuff. Everything's going to contribute to this. But really, how many subscriber services, streaming services, is there space for in the market for true success? A lot of experts have said it's probably 4 to 6. I think we have 3 that are going to be basically linchpins, and those are going to be Netflix, Disney Plus, and Amazon Prime, simply because Amazon Prime offers a service that
Yeah.
no one else can offer, which is, you know, free delivery services for items.
For physical products.
For physical products, which gives them a very unique advantage in that streaming
I
space.
feel like they also have the capital through which they can create really good original content, which is something that
Very true.
Netflix has its own content that it brings. Obviously, Disney has its own original content, but you know, for a lot of streaming services, getting the rights to, you know, other properties can be difficult, especially with titles bouncing around between different services, and
Exactly.
you know, so their original content is obviously a big draw.
It's huge.
Netflix has like maybe one really good like movie or show to like every 5 others that are just garbage, but they pump out so much.
They do.
Hulu
Yeah.
doesn't really have much that I have found that's been too great. They have a couple like little things here and there, but Amazon has like some actually really good stuff.
Yeah.
Was it Jack Ryan was a Amazon original that I really enjoyed.
Jack Ryan was fantastic.
Um,
Yeah.
I'm sitting through The Boys right now, and I finished this past week's episode today, and I'm just like, I can't believe I actually have to wait a week for the next episode. I was like, how did I ever do this? I don't remember the last time I felt like I need to see what happens next, and I can't.
Well,
That's-
another strength for Amazon, especially, is that like, for my personal thing, like I have like a bunch of movies that I just bought,
Yeah.
like movies that that I was like really nostalgic for as a kid, miniseries that I really enjoyed. Like, Tyler, you remember The 10th Kingdom?
Of course, I have it on DVD.
I have it on Amazon Prime.
Well, now I know where I can buy it for a second time.
Yeah, exactly. Because I don't know where my DVD
have
went, but
no
it's
idea where
gone.
my DVD
So
went.
when I found it on Prime, I'm like, I don't care that it's $40 for the entire series. I'm buying it now. Like,
And the thing is that you bought it, so it stays. It's not like I was looking earlier today for a movie called Goemon, which was like a Warner Bros. They worked with another. I'm not sure which country in Asia it is, but
Goemon?
Goemon. It's about a legendary.
Does he have brothers
Chinese-
named Digimon and
No.
Pokemon?
no,
no,
Goemon
he's-
is a Japanese.
Is he
Is
Jap-
basically
oh, yeah,
the
sorry,
Japanese
Japanese.
Robin Hood.
Yeah, Japanese, not Chinese. And it was a great movie that I saw from
Thanks,
back in
Persona.
2009. Nice. Dynasty Warriors for me. That's where I first met him. So it was a really good movie that I had seen on Netflix, and then I wanted to go watch it again today. And of course, it's not on Netflix anymore because I saw it on there like 8 years ago. And I actually had to go searching for it, and now the only place I can ironically buy the movie is on Amazon. So I'll be picking that up. But that's the thing is these movies that he just bought,
Yep.
that as long as he has access to Amazon, you know, outside of like Amazon failing as a company or
Which I
just
don't
it's
see
probably not going to
happening.
happen, or like
Not
the
gonna
world
happen.
ending, he's always going to have those
Sure.
films. He doesn't have to
Sure.
go onto the service and wonder if it's still there.
Right.
It's such a huge edge for Amazon. For
Yeah.
sure.
So how do smaller streaming services compete? You know, you've got the network TV market. I mean, we've seen a decline, I think, in people who actually subscribe to cable. All right, they're not doing it so much anymore. They're leaving cable TV. They're leaving satellite TV in droves to just go to streaming services. Right. So I think the networks recognize the need to do this, but are they going to be able to exist on their own with their own streaming services, or are they going to have to? Do we eventually see some groups start to cluster and pool their resources to combat the Disney Pluses and the Amazon Primes and the Netflix of the world? Like how do they compete against these?
I don't honestly with pooling resources. Like the only networks that I can think of that are doing this are the news networks and things like that, and I don't see them working together because they're adversarial by nature. Because they always have their own ideas and agendas that they're trying to push. So I don't see like news station networks banding together. Honestly, I think they're just going to try and stick it out as best they can and just hope that people join, like support them and their things. I don't know.
Okay.
I see a lot of news networks moving to a purely online content kind of platform where they're no longer when they no longer have a network, a TV network that they can stream through, as they always have, but they still stream those same
That same content and stories
on their online sites, which people can still go and access. I don't see news moving towards like trying to be on any sort of streaming platform. They might get relegated to just their individual sites where they continue to thrive as long as they have people that are willing to, you know,
I mean, are there
watch ads.
Sure.
And
So
whatnot.
I think news, I think what we learned, or at least what I learned from the Disney acquisition of Fox Films, is that I think like corporately, you know, ABC News might even be under a different umbrella than their creative division.
Yeah.
You know, so I think the way they're structured might not lend necessarily to those kind of conflicts. You know, so I guess the big question that I see is like, I just don't see network TV offering a streaming service that people are going to want to buy when it's thrown up against these other ones.
No.
There's only a finite amount
Especially-
of money that people are going to want to dish out.
Especially in regards to like actual entertainment, not
Yeah.
non-news TV, like
Correct.
your shows.
Correct.
Like all of that content ends up on one
One
or
of the streaming
several
sites.
Streaming sites,
Right.
and because people are already paying so much for those and can get that content there, to imagine that those networks would then try to put out their own streaming services, they're almost better off continuing to make deals with these
Right.
bigger services.
So do they? Often with these streaming services, however, you're getting that lag. So you're seeing only the seasons that are technically a year old, right, and beyond. Do we see some of these programs start to air their stuff live? Not live, but you know what I mean, in real time.
I could
on
see
these
it.
services.
I mean, Amazon is already doing it. Like I said, you know.
Yeah, you're
they
waiting.
released-
You're waiting a week for The Boys.
they
The
released,
Mandalorian did it for Disney Plus.
but
yeah.
but The Boys is an Amazon produced show.
Yes. So what I'm saying is that there is definitely, you know, a willingness for people to enjoy content the way they used to, which is episodically, week over week.
Yes.
I think if these entities, these networks, were able to come up with a way to contract with one or multiple streaming sites to put out weekly episodes, that there is a way for them to get that out in the same method that they always have.
Yep. So I think ABC and Hulu are actually
Yeah.
intrinsically tied together.
That
believe.
sounds right. I would need to double check that. I'll edit in and post if it is or not.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure. But actually, you guys kind of touched upon a really interesting point because you know, we've seen Netflix basically. I think they're to blame for this. They have spoiled the viewing population with basically giving you basically binge-worthy content. Right?
Yeah.
That they air an entire
Season at once.
of a product, and now you have a certain segment of the populace out there that really doesn't want to wait for a weekly episode, right? Now you have other organizations like Disney Plus. Disney Plus is keeping that traditional model of we're going to give you new content every week. You're going to get one episode per week. So where do you see that going? Like, do you think that that's going to we're going to keep that balance of like streaming services giving different styles, or are we going to see like a movement in one direction or another?
Honestly, I could see it going both ways, but I think personally it's going to stay both ways because, you know, I'm sure all three of us have multiple streaming services, right? Like we all have Netflix and Disney
Yeah.
Plus and all that stuff.
Yeah.
Like if it's like we're watching a show on like Amazon Prime or Disney Plus where they only show like one new episode a week, it's like, okay, while that's going on, I'll go back to this other service and binge a whole bunch of stuff in that
And then
in
come
that
back
week,
to
and
it.
then come back to the new stuff. Like, I can see that happening. I think that's what's going to happen more and more. Like, if that makes any sense.
It almost gives you an opportunity to be like, I don't have to worry about making sure that I catch every episode of every show that I'm following this week because I have other stuff to catch up on. You go, you binge that out, and then
Yep.
all of a sudden you've got a few months that you haven't seen this particular show, so you binge out those episodes. And you just kind of jump around. So it's almost, yeah, like following both models at the same time. I think the difference is going to be if and when we get to a point where cable TV just becomes completely drowned out.
Right.
Where there
it's already on its way. So.
where people are no longer watching TV via, the cable
The
provider.
cable services.
Where are those networks going to go?
Right.
Like ABC, they're going to have to attach themselves to a specific streaming service, and in that they can continue their weekly episodes, but now it's on that service
Right.
that is getting paid for via subscription rather than them airing on a network where they make money via their advertisements.
So if you look at it, you've got, so it's not just the networks that are, trying to develop their own streaming services or have developed them to varying success, but you also got, I mentioned HBO Max. You've got Cinemax. So it's the premium movie channels as well that are also kind of going in this direction, right? Even Roku has
I
their
feel
own
like for
channel.
them though, so like back in 2013, 2014, I had just moved out of a situation where I had access to pretty much anything that I wanted to watch, and now I could no longer watch the shows that I wanted to, which were on HBO and Stars. I liked watching Black Flag.
Yep.
I had a couple things that I had going on, but the thing is, those were already subscription based. So when I wanted to continue watching those, I had to start paying a subscription to these,
Sure.
to HBO and to Stars.
Yeah.
So in a way, they
It was a
kind
premium
of
add-on to your
they
cable
kind of
service.
already are streaming services in some regard, anyways.
Right.
They were.
It's still a subscription-based content, like
Correct, but they predated the whole move towards the
The digital streaming services.
Yeah.
Exactly. So now does their business model with their finite amount of content in comparison measure up and is able to compete?
I think that
in this
depends on
era?
how much they charge. People are still utilizing those. They're still
Right.
subscribing to those channels. That's
Yeah.
stuff that you can't get on regular cable. That your normal package.
Yeah, it depends on the
Sure.
content and what they're charging for.
So literally,
Right.
all they're doing is just moving that from. Actually, they're not even moving that because most of that is online services or like app services through your
Yep.
smart TV. So really, they don't have to change much of their business model anyways because they just continue to charge the same amount of money that they've always charged. Their content is literally only on their site. So
Well, so aside from their original content, I agree on the original content portion of these channels, but I think you're going to find that HBO, Cinemax, Stars, they're going to have less and less partners feeding them the additional content that really fleshes out their offering. As more of these studios develop maybe exclusive agreements, going to one streaming service versus another. So it's a lot of like
isn't
it seems
Stars
like a
working
game of
with
Survivor.
Hulu as well?
I think Stars
lot-
is working
a
with it.
lot
I
of-
think I
a lot
remember
of
reading
content
something
on
about
Hulu
that.
recently has been Stars.
So
So
yes,
maybe that's what they're doing.
it's very possible. So and that kind of goes towards that earlier comment I made about like basically pooling resources in order to combat some of the big guys on the block, right?
Stars is helping Hulu out, let's be honest.
Yeah, they are. They're bringing
Yes, they
good
are.
content to.
Yes, they are.
I'm sorry.
So-
I'm not actually digging against Stars or Hulu. I'm just making.
Yeah, you're
I'm just
hanging
trying to be
against
funny.
Hulu.
I'm
You're
just
giving
trying
a lot
to
of
be
credit
funny.
to Stars. Sorry.
So it's a very interesting topic, and at the end of the day, I think people are probably really enjoying the fact that buying 4 different streaming services for roughly $50 a month is way better than buying cable TV and paying through the nose $100 a month or more, and so I think the future is bright for the consumer. Not so much for the content providers, however, who are finding themselves, I think, in a more and more difficult market. and have to find different inventive ways to deliver their product and get attention. But what do you think? What are your favorite services? Do you prefer the streaming model? Do you still prefer the old-fashioned cable TV?
How old are you?
You know, yeah, exactly. Identify your age. You know,
it's late. Get to bed.
And if so, like, what are your favorite streaming services? Who are the big guys for you out there, and where do you see it all going? We'd love to hear from you, so chime in, and we'll catch you next time.